What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another Grizz Game Day update. I'm Kelsey. That is Mike. Today, the Memphis Grizzlies take on the Dallas Mavericks for the second time this week. Obviously, if you remember, the Grizzlies won in Dallas 97-90 on December 4th. So 4 days ago, they're taking them on again today. But it's going to look like a whole different team today for the Dallas Mavericks because they have got their guys back. They're coming off of a loss last night against Brooklyn, where Porzingis played, where Luka played. And now they're coming to Memphis. They're here. They're ready to go. Mike, what's going to be the main difference now that we're seeing like really a different Dallas team?
I mean, you are seeing a different Dallas team, but you're seeing a Dallas team that's kind of searching for some confidence right now, kind of searching for some offensive continuity. Luka didn't play in that game the other night, Saturday in Dallas, and neither did Porzingis. I'm actually kind of surprised that Porzingis and Luka are both playing on the back of back-to-backs like this, but that team and Jason Kidd as coach, they have to get some things going. They've been cratering. I think they've lost 10 out of 12 or something like that. Not 10 out of 12, but they've been struggling. The Grizzlies have passed them for the lead in the Southwest Division now by 2 or 3 games, and so the Grizzlies are going to have to bear down literally for a much tougher, much more resilient and potent Dallas Mavericks team. But if you've seen these Grizzlies play over the last 2 weeks, Kelcey, and which you have. This is a different Grizzlies team right now, too, when it comes to the confidence level. And, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out tonight in terms of extending this winning streak, see if we can get it to 6. The way we've been doing it has been remarkable.
Yes, wire to wire, except for that 2-2 lead in the last game. Obviously, when we're filming right now, the injury report has not come out. So as of right this second, both Porzingis and Luka will be in tonight. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this Mavs team is like this unstoppable force. They both played last night. This team is a team that shot 19% from the 3-point line last night. It was ugly. It was, 9 for 46 from the 3. And when I talked to, the Mavs reporter, Tim McMahon, before last game, he was saying this is a team that's going to get the threes up no matter what. They're shooting from the 3, but they don't necessarily shoot at a high percentage. Their average is about 33% right now, not 19. But that's always a key going into this Dallas team is to talk on screens because Luka's going to want to go over, get downhill, and then pop for the 3. But if they get hot, they have the potential because they do shoot so many threes to make it.
And we saw that. And we saw that. We saw, especially in that second half when it basically seemed like, it was a case in that game, man, in Dallas where Tim Hardaway Jr. and Desmond Bane were just going back and forth. And Hardaway could not miss at one stretch to keep them in the game. But here's the thing about Dallas. They also have to defend the Grizzlies too. And right now you have so many different live ball options for the Grizzlies. They didn't do a great enough job defending Steven Adams and keeping him out of the paint. He was a headache for them down low, whether it was Boban Marjanovic or Dwight Powell or any of those guys. They could not, root Steven Adams out of the paint. That was also the case in Miami where Steven had his presence felt. And then when you go out to the 3-point line, Desmond Bane and Dillon Brooks are just in this rhythm right now with each other. And you see what they're doing on both ends of the floor. And, you take it even a step further. The Grizzlies are getting contributions from beyond those guys. I hadn't even mentioned, we're a few minutes in, we hadn't even talked about Jaren Jackson yet in terms of what he's able to do. He was the last starter to reach double figures on Monday night against Miami. So when Jaren is on board too, and the Grizzlies are playing like they're playing, there's no reason why they can't, beat Dallas 2 times in a stretch of 3 or 4 days. So we'll see. But defending that 3-point line and being assignment specific with Luka is going to be a huge key for the Grizzlies.
Here are my other 2 keys because we like to put a good 3. 3 is a great number.
Yes.
Number 2 is going to be pace. Luka has called himself out. Tim McMahon called him out before, but Luka has called himself out just yesterday on his conditioning. So the Grizzlies, when they do play with a higher pace than other teams, they're getting a whole bunch of fast break points. This is what the Grizzlies do well. They got to do that tonight because Luka is out of shape. And this is not my words. This is coming straight from him. He said he had a little bit too much fun in the offseason. So you've got to push the pace there. And then you had mentioned Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson Jr. This is so interesting when it comes to Porzingis being back playing with this Mavs team because the way I see it is Porzingis will cover Jaren, and that's going to give Steven Adams, a mismatch down low, whether that's on the defensive glass or the offensive glass with second chance points. So I think if I'm picking one player tonight to have a big offensive night, it's going to be Steven Adams.
Offensive night for Steven Adams too. And this was a guy that, he had a very, very, very hearty, healthy double-double in Miami. What was it, 17 and 16 or something along those lines. He certainly can get going. He can certainly, especially if you're looking for him, The only thing about that is the Grizzlies don't necessarily run plays, but he gets all of his off of activity, putbacks, and he's taking more post opportunities too. So I have seen that over the last few games. And Taylor Jenkins, to your point, Kelcey, has talked about Steven Adams feeling more comfortable within the offensive structure to know when he can pick his spots. So, that will be a key in terms of that. And, I guess what I also look forward to, well, is can the Grizzlies keep Dallas out of the mid-range game? Because you talked about Luka wanting to come across screens and get downhill, but also Jalen Brunson has been, one of their better players, quiet as kept in terms of how he's able to operate and be effective. So I'm looking forward to that matchup, that Tyus Jones and the Grizzlies don't really have a secondary point guard right now. It's sort of point guard by committee, but Tyus Jones and Jalen Brunson, which one of those guys is going to have a bigger impact in terms of being that secondary facilitator of what's going on in the game?
For sure. You mentioned not having that secondary point guard. That means Tyus Jones is starting. We didn't do a quick injury update for the Grizzlies. Kyle Anderson is doubtful tonight. BC is out. Ja is out. And then the reason I bring this up is Zaire, who, could step into that spot. He is out tonight as well. You got anything else for us? We're going to go for 6 in a row?
You go for 6 in a row. What's been remarkable, 6 in a row, you talked about not relinquishing a lead, for 5 straight games now. 4 out of those 5 games, the Grizzlies have held their opponent to below 100 points. You talked about this a couple of games ago, Kelcey. They're number 1 in defensive rating in the league over the last week. You know what I mean? And that covers the 5-game winning streak as well, obviously. So what they were 30th in before, they're 1 now. And they've gone from one extreme to the other. Let's see if they can keep it going. This is a key week. Tonight, Dallas. Tomorrow night, the Lakers. And then Saturday, Houston with Zebo's jersey retirement. And then Monday, Philly. So 4 games in 6 days is a gauntlet. Let's see if these Grizzlies can keep it going.
There we go. You guys, the game tips off at 7 o'clock tonight at FedEx Forum. You can get your tickets and come hang out with us at 901-888-HOOP. You can watch it on TV at Valley Sports Southeast. Listen on the radio at 92.9 ESPN and follow all of the Grizzlies social channels at MemGrizz.